Hello guys, and today I'm going to show you how to pick parts for your custom built PC, if you are planning to build one. This is for any price range or anything kind of desktop PC you're actually building. First you may want to do is to open up your browser, find a shopping site like Amazon, Tiger Direct, or Newegg to find your own parts. I'm going to go to Newegg, which is my site. I'm going to start off with the processor or CPU, which stands for Central Processing Unit, and this would be easier if this is chosen first. I'm going with the Intel Core i7 to 4790K. Next is your motherboard. You may have some compatibility issues with this part, but as far you can pick the right processor socket, then you're fine. That's why I would rather pick the processor first. I'm going to choose ASRock Z97X Killer, but to do that you have to make sure that is the same socket shown here, and it should be LGA1150. Next is your CPU cooler. They come in different ways of cooling. Theirs is either air or water. You won't need this unless you are overclocking, as your processor should come with one and it shouldn't be that efficient in cooling if you're overclocking. I may want to overclock in this build, and I would go for a Corsair H100i for example. Note, the one that if I said, if you are not overclocking, then you won't need to buy an aftermarket cooler, and you plan on using the stock one. Also you'll need is your RAM. They come in common with usually 2 sticks, and many motherboards will support up to 32 GB of RAM. For me, I would go and get a pair or G-Skill RAM in 16 GB. Next will be a storage drive. They come in many sizes and speeds. If you want storage, then choose a hard drive, and if you want more of the same thing for RAID, then you could do that. Also you can get a SSD or solid state drive and make your operating system provides your programs to start up faster. For me, I would go with a Samsung 850 Pro 256 GB and 2 Western Digital Blacks in 3 TB to make a RAID 0 array. Next will be a graphics card. This is the optional choice, just like the CPU cooler or adding more than one storage drive. This is more ideal if you are planning to game or go with a CPU that doesn't have integrated graphics. These can have different clock speeds and video RAM built into them. I would get a Gigabyte GTX 980 G1 gaming for this build. Next will be your power supply, and it's a very important part of your build. It's important to see if how much wattage your build will draw from. If you are planning on having a graphics card, even you don't have a plan to put one, when you actually building it, then a power supply less than 300 watts to 400 watts would be ideal. If you planning to put a graphics card, then a power supply above than 450 watts would be ideal. If you are doing a semi or crossfire, then a power supply at least 850 watts would be ideal for that matter. Since I am planning on getting a 980, then I would get a AX860 from Corsair. Then you'll need a case, but look up if your motherboard will fit in it. There are motherboards that it can support mini ITX, ITX, micro ATX, ATX, and PATX. If you're planning to put an optical drive or plan to put one later, then check if how many days you're going with. There's many cases with many options you want, from cable management features, availability to mount a radiator, or removable hard drive bays, and etc. In this build, I would go and get a Corsair 780T. The last part, but you won't need, unless you would, is your optical drive. This is the cheapest from all of your other parts in your PC. They normally cost from $15 and up here in the US. I would not need to put an optical drive in this build, so I'm going to skip this part. If you're planning on replacing your fans in your case or on your CPU cooler, then there's many fan options. I'm going to just stick with the stock fans, and I can buy some later to replace them. Then you'll need the actual operating system. Most builds commonly run Windows or Linux. I would say that I'm planning to put Windows 8.1 in this machine. That's it. All we have to do now is to go to one website called PC Part Picker, and from there you'll select the parts that you have chosen before, just to see if they are compatible. All parts seems to be compatible in this build. This is all it for this tutorial. I hope this helped you well in choosing your parts for your new PC.